it, we see a trend, right, within the industry. The mounts are getting higher and higher and higher, right? For the idea, oh, I can have my head up, and then I think some guys, I've heard commentary based off of, well, it's better for shooting in gas mask. It's better for passively aiming under night vision. And let's talk about that first. Like, so for me, in my military career, passive shooting, passively aiming with your rifle, right? Being able to passively engage targets at distance under nods was a skill that you were sort of familiar with it, but it wasn't an operational requirement regularly.
Nope.
That
I never did it. We try, you train on it. You want to know how to do it. How am I going to find that dot if I had to, if my laser went down, or if I needed to, for some reason, do that? Obviously we need to be proficient in it, but I never shot my rifle at night looking passively. It was always laser, and it still is to this day. Right. So this is a hot topic for me, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. God, I could give you way more than a couple of reasons. This could go on. This could be a whole nother live, but here's the gist of it. One company came out with a mount, right? And they hired somebody who had a decent following, right? I'll leave this very vague. I know that's usually not you, but right. So they hire a guy who has a lot of followers, right? And has somewhat of a background, but I still don't know what that was. Nobody can answer that. Anyway, this guy gets paid a lot of money to promote this thing and make some points that are somewhat decent, somewhat valid. Like, yeah, sure, it is a little better at night to shoot this way, right? If you don't practice it and can't just find your dot, which I've never had that problem. I still don't, right? And I run mine as low as I can. I'm all about low height over bore.
Me too.
Yep. So then it started getting out, right? And everybody was like, oh, this is the latest, greatest thing. Like, yeah, man, the bad guys got nods. Like, nobody's using their laser anymore. Everybody's still using their laser. So that became a thing just because of social media. Gotta love it, right? Everybody thought this dude knows exactly what he's talking about because he has a lot of followers. So then I actually got a phone call from another company in the industry that was like, hey, we're getting a lot of requests to build a tall mount. What's your take on it? And I was like, it's total bullshit. I understand if you guys do it, like, you're missing out on a market that people are going to buy it anyway, right? I go, but it doesn't make sense. I go, number one, to quickly aim at anything, you're not passively aiming. Like, you can practice it all you want, and we could go on the range and I'll shoot my laser, and somebody who does it a bunch can passively aim, right? And it'll be close, maybe as fast, right, with a tall mount and all this. But here's the biggest thing, and here's where it differs, is you enter into a room, or you see a target, whatever it is, wherever it's at. You're now going from, well, you had 200-degree field of view. We have nods on now, so we have 40. If you had panos, you have a little bit more, right? But now you have to look through a second toilet paper tube to find your dot. So now you have such tunnel vision, you're so target focused on looking through your nods, now lining up your optic and looking through your optic. So 2 toilet paper tubes you're trying to look through to engage that threat, make sure that threat is down. You have lost every bit of all your other situation awareness, right? So now once you finally come off the gun, there could have been some dude in the other room or some other guy jump up and you have no idea. Where when you come up with your nods and you're using your laser, you're looking over the gun the entire time, right? You come up and bring your gun up like you normally would during the daytime, but you don't bring it all the way up cheek stockwell. You don't need to, right? It comes right up in your shoulder just like normal, but you're looking directly over the gun. Bam, 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 you make your engagement and your head continues to pan. So you're way faster, you have way more situation awareness. And it's not like we're walking around. This was the other argument was, oh, the enemy has nods, but they're showing videos or images of your laser on, and it looks like a lightsaber all the way from your gun. If you're doing that, then you're fucked up. Like, you need to learn how to control your settings for the environment. If there's if there's dust and particles in the air, then go to a lower setting. Don't shine that big bright light. And we're not using our lasers like we used to, right? If there is a threat of there being somebody having night vision out there, you're only using your laser when you need to either look somewhere really quick and or ID a threat, engage, and then the laser comes off as soon as the gun is going on safe. I mean, they work
So I
simultaneously.
think they're into just in what you're describing, people blend two different types of situations, right? Like passive aiming under nods for CQB, not a thing, never been a thing, right? Stop talking about it. It's not a requirement. Oh, they have nods in the house. Cool, right?
Yeah.
You're also, I mean, if you're sneaking around or whatever, you're still not. You should not be searching with your laser, right? If you're using that, if it's that dark, I mean, we can start to have other conversations about what you're doing from an operational standpoint, right? If it's too dark where you can't assess anything without throwing IR light or energy out, it's probably not the environment to be doing CQB under NOC, right? I mean, it's principles of CQB. This is a whole nother argument, have never changed, right? It's always
Right.
it's going to be surprise, speed, and violence action. I hate to bust anybody's bubble. It's never going to be slow, deliberate, fucking whatever. So the passive aiming too is really like when you're using on an approach, right, where you're in kind of a hinterland area or even a built up area, and it's at distance, it's still kind of hard when you don't have thermals to really identify people, especially if the movement is controlled and there's good laser discipline and everything. Then I could see the argument where, hey, because I was there when it changed overnight, right? No one had nods to fuck. Everybody's got nods, right? And that literally happened like within a week, it seemed like. And then what you find is it's still not anything like, oh, if we're not passive aiming, we're killed in the streets. Passive aiming in some respects could be a benefit, but also if you were trained properly into like how to actually use your laser and laser discipline, you were still going to be okay, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. And also too, you probably hit this on your setting. The laser has a bunch of different settings for a reason. Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
if your go-to move is let me pull the blue screws out, high power illuminator, high power aiming, you
Right.
really need to kind of broaden your horizons and think a little bit different.